to a brand new episode of Jonathan's Court. Today I'm super excited to be back with you. Hope your Thanksgiving was good. Hope next Thanksgiving was good, and good vibes all around. So, are you ready to get back to it? After a great slate of games on Thanksgiving, we had some games on Thursday. We got a Black Friday game even, and then we just finished out the weekend pretty strong. So, what are you most looking forward to going into Week 13?
Well, we're closing out the season here. First and foremost, I'm glad to be back in person on Jonathan's Court here. If you haven't been watching, I've been kind of occupied a little bit the past couple Wednesdays with some other stuff going on. I know Riley gave me a little shout out last week in his podcast. If you haven't seen it, see last week's. But I'm glad to be in person here for a quick little cameo. Can't say for the whole show, but what I'll say about what I'm looking forward to Week 13 is we're getting close to the end of the season here. I mean, there's a lot of good games coming up here. Riley's going to say my picks here and who I think is going to win this week.
Yep.
But the biggest news that we kind of just heard today is Aaron Rodgers is looking to come back Week 16. That's an absolute joke. He's not an absolute joke. His talent is unbelievable. But what's he coming back to Week 16 for? The Jets aren't in a playoff position.
But can they get to a playoff position?
Even if they get to a playoff position, that's a detriment to Rodgers' career. You're talking an Achilles injury, something that takes over half a year, and it hasn't even been 4 months, and he's going to think he can waltz back out to NFL field against players who've been playing for 16, 17 games and thinks he's going to perform at the same Pro Bowl level that he's played? Come on now. He'll take one step and tear it again. And that's not a knock against Aaron Rodgers, but it is a knock against how foolish he thinks he's going to be. Who's he proven? He doesn't need to prove himself to anybody. So I can't believe the Jets are stepping in to this. Maybe it all is just media hype. Maybe it all is just smoke. He's got to keep his name out in the media somehow if he's on the sidelines. If you can't talk about his game, okay, we'll talk about the potential of his returning, which I think is bullshit. But, I guess whatever you have to do to spin your PR, especially if you've had a dumpy of a season like the Jets have. But that's not to the Jets' fault. I mean, he was their offense. He was their key to being hyped up so good. But we'll never know because he got injured 4 plays into his Jets career. So that's the big news that kind of came out today, other than Jonathan Taylor getting surgery and being out for the next 3 games. So that fucking sucks. Excuse my language, guys. He can edit this.
I won't.
But anyways, guys, I'm so glad to be making on here, at least for a little bit. Please stay tuned. Watch the rest of it. He's got a good show for you guys. Take care.
Appreciate that, Nick. We look forward to seeing you again on this episode. But just like Nick talked about, Aaron Rodgers is going to potentially return. So I guess now is the time to talk about it. I told you guys I would be talking about it a little later in the episode when the time comes. Since it's an official report now, I know he's been talking to Pat McAfee every Tuesday, and they've kind of been talking about his rehab and what's going on. But this is now real official. He has set a target date for Week 16. Nick gave his opinion. I'll go ahead and give mine. It is... Get that chair out of the way. Let's get in the middle before we get started. It is absolute bullshit, just like Nick said, excuse my language as well. But with everything that we have going on, I just don't think it's in the best interest of his career. I understand he wants to come back. I understand he wants to play football. He loves football. This offseason, he really debated whether he wanted to retire, what exactly his situation was going to look going forward. No, it didn't plan out the way that he thought it was going to, getting injured 4 games into the year, and now potentially coming back from your Achilles injury in the same season is unheard of, doesn't ever, probably, I don't even think it's ever happened, but with the science and everything that he is doing in his rehab, he could potentially return. I don't think it's a good move. Like Nick said, I think he does get hurt again, and then that is going to make him really think about his career, depending on what injury he does. Does he re-tear his Achilles? Does he hurt his shoulder? And he's not playing at 100% like all these other guys have been playing all year long. I know he's getting back, but being in practice and being games are 2 different things. And with that offensive line looking the way that it is, I don't care who you put back there. They suck. And it's not I'm not harshing Jets fans. I'm harshing your offensive line. I'm a Colts fan. I'm a Bengals fan as well. Look at fucking Joe Burrow. Excuse my language, but he's hurt. He's out for the year because his offensive line sucks. The Colts, what happened to Andrew Luck? His offensive line sucked. So it comes down to an offensive line and having an offensive line. That's why I don't think Aaron Rodgers should come back, whether he stays healthy, whether he doesn't, whether he gets injured. For his best sake, I think he should wait till next season. The Jets aren't a playoff team anyways. Their defense carries them every game. So I don't think it makes a difference whether you have Aaron Rodgers the rest of the season or not. With that being said, we're going to go straight into the records. Last week, Nick and I both went 12-4. Pretty insane. We've got, 16 games back on the slate like we do again this week, so which is really awesome. You have the potential to go 16-0. I did my picks first, and I was like, okay, I went 12-4, and then I'm looking at Nick's, and I'm like, man, this guy might, potentially could go 16-0. Didn't happen, though. He went 12-4, puts him at an overall of 101 wins and 63 losses. I'm at 110 wins and 70 losses. So we now reached the threshold of 100 wins, just like I said last week that we were going to get there. We are there now, so that's super exciting. We'll see how many more wins we can get under our belt. Moving into, the segment that I like to, just kind of bring here on the channel just to talk about something that happened this week. I know we kind of talked about Aaron Rodgers and Jonathan Taylor a little bit, but what I wrote down first was there was a new number 1 seed 4 different times over this weekend. It changed from the Ravens being number 1 to the Chiefs being number 1 to the Jaguars being number 1 and then the Miami Dolphins being number 1. Right now the Ravens are back up at number 1 since they won. But it's just crazy. Every time a team won, they flipped to number 1 and then kept sorting out. So you just know that the number 1 overall seed is going to come in clutch, whoever ends up getting that. But how exciting is the AFC turned out to be? I know the Bills haven't performed the way they were going to. The Bengals, now with Joe Burrow being hurt, aren't up there as well in the conversation. But 4 teams just like that are competing for the number 1 seed. That is super exciting to see. The AFC is something to watch this year. So if you're not watching, please do watch it. It's getting cold. I got my coat over here because it is in the single digits now, as all you Indiana nerds, Hoosiers, whatever, know that it's super cold outside. So just be aware that it is now coat season. One last segment to start us off, to kick us off for this great week 13 of football. Let me get my pen ready here. It's the Seattle Seahawks coming in and playing the Dallas Cowboys at AT&T Stadium. It's going to be a great game. 2 NFC, really good teams. The Cowboys have played, they're 8-3. They haven't played a lot of teams with above 500 record. The Seahawks are 6-5, who are above a 500 record. So the biggest question going into this game on Thursday night, especially for the Cowboys in general, is can they beat above 500 team? This is their, I wouldn't say they're a true test because, they're not on the road. That's when, but you also got to defend your home field advantage. Do this Cowboys want to be the number 1 seed and host a playoff game at home? This isn't their real true test, but if they're going to get there, they have to be above 500 teams. So it's their second test above going out on the road and beating a 500 team. But this is going to be a close game. I think the Seahawks definitely bring a fight. They're coming in. I do think the Cowboys do end up winning this game, though, probably about 7 to 10 points. But the Seahawks are going to give them a fight, and I'm super excited what Geno Smith is going to do for this game. Nick has also went to Colts, probably for many reasons of what I just said. Maybe he's got a little bit other reasons, but that's what we have going on tomorrow night at 8:15 to kick us off for a Thursday night game. Pretty good Thursday night game, if you ask me. Next, you've got on Sunday for our first 1 o'clock game, we've got the Tennessee Titans at home, and the Colts are on the road. Not having Jonathan Taylor now, how much does that play a factor into your game? We don't have Leonard anymore. Nick is going with the Colts here. I think, if we want to stay in the playoff race, we have to win this divisional game. Our defense is usually pretty good on stopping Derrick Henry, but I think he has a bounce-back week. I think the Colts I think this is sort of the decline of the Colts. If Nick watches this episode, he's not going to be happy with my assumption there. But there's a lot of great AFC teams. The Steelers are in a great position that I didn't think that they would be in, but they're a playoff team right now. So I'm going Tennessee Titans here. So that is our first disagreement. Next, you've got the Atlanta Falcons playing the New York Jets. It's at a home game for New York Jets. I see the Falcons winning here. The Falcons are doing great things. They are competing for the number 1 seed in their division. They are 5-6. The Jets are 4-7. So we'll see what happens at 1 o'clock. Next, we got the Detroit Lions coming and playing the Saints. The Saints are just not playing up to par of what everyone thought they would. They thought that they would be an easy favorite winning that division, but that's not necessarily the case. The new Carolina Panthers, they're 1-10 and they still have a chance to make the playoffs. Like, they could still win their division. How crazy is that? Ever since Drew Brees has lived, nope. That whole division is just, yeah. The Lions are coming in. They did lose as the favorites on Thanksgiving. I think they bounced back. They need to bounce back, especially if they potentially want the number 1 seed in the NFC as well. So I'm going Lions here. If I had to guess, I think Nick is probably going to go the Lions as well, in which he did. Then you got the Denver Broncos playing the Texans. Right off the gate here, Nick is going Texans. The Broncos have won like the last 3 or 4 games. They are starting, or 4 or 5, I think. They've starting to really come around. They're 6-5. The Texans are 6-5. This is going to be a great game. It is at home. I think the Texans get it done. Like I said, I believe in the Texans. I think they can make the playoffs. Do I think the Broncos can make the playoffs? I think they're going to fall short. So Nick and I are both going Texans here. Next, you got the Los Angeles Chargers at 1 o'clock playing the New England Patriots. There's a lot of things that we can talk about with the New England Patriots about what's going on for them. I do believe the Chargers do get this win. If it's a win that is, they've got to win by more than 10 points. Because if it's a game less than 3 points, they're probably going to lose it because they're pretty good at doing that. Nick went the Chargers as well. So we both think that Chargers are going to get a dub over the Patriots. Then at 1 o'clock, you've got the Arizona Cardinals coming in and playing the Steelers. Since Kyle Murray has been back, he's not been playing too bad. Like, he's been putting them in spots to win games. He's been putting them in spots to show you what he's still capable of. You are playing the Steelers, though. It is at home for the Steelers. They have a beautiful you can't talk enough good things about the Steelers defense that I think the Steelers will be able to win this game. Along with that being said, Nick has the Steelers winning at home as well. Then at our last 1 o'clock game is the Miami Dolphins playing the Washington Redskins. This game here, the Dolphins should win this game without a doubt, and that's who I believe is going to win the game. I just don't see the Redskins winning. I don't see them. Let me just look at the record real quick. I got to click on the game first. They are 4-8. The Dolphins are 8-3. Like I said, should be a pretty easy game for the Dolphins. So my 1 o'clock game that I think is game of the week. I knew that was going to happen. Probably the Broncos and the Texans, just because they're both 6-5. They do play pretty well. The Texans, they're a young team. They're proving what they can be and what they will be. The Broncos are proving what they are with Russell Wilson of how good that they can be. So that's my 1 o'clock game. Now let's go to a 4 or 5 o'clock game, which is the North Carolina Panthers. Can I just not speak today? Carolina Panthers playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, this is a divisional game. Like I said, the Panthers are still in it if they want to potentially make the playoffs, which would be kind of funny, but really don't see it happen with firing Frank Reich. And, who's going to want that job in Carolina? Someone's going to take it. Someone's going to pay a lot of money. Whoever that coach is, doesn't have a great season, they'll get fired and make a lot of money. So that coaching job is really up in the air, but I'm going Bucks here. They should win this game. Nick is going the Bucks as well. Then at 4:25, you got the 49ers playing the Eagles. Now, this is going to be it's already a 4:25 game. I would trade out the Monday night game now that Joe Burrow's hurt, but this is going to be a great 4:25 game. They both have great defenses. Jalen Hurts has shown how good he can be in the clutch in the fourth quarter. Can Brock Purdy also do the same thing if their team's down and the Eagles are winning? Can Brock Purdy come back? Both of these teams are phenomenal. It's really coin flip with how good these teams are. I mean, just looking at the records, 49ers are 8-3, the Eagles are 10-1. I took a pause there because it's really hard to pick here. The Eagles are at home for this game. They slugged it out with the Bills and were able to beat them in crappy weather last week. Can the Eagles continue to win ugly? That's the question everyone's been asking. Yes, as long as you win games, you're winning games. But I think the 49ers in here, this is a true test for them. They could have, lost 4 in a row, didn't. And, they're 8-3. I think that the 49ers can come in and get this win. But this game's going to come down to the wire. So I'm going 49ers. Nick is also going the 49ers. So we could get proven wrong. We could be proven right. Then you've got the Browns coming in and playing the Rams. I don't know what to figure out with the Browns. They're on their third string quarterback right now. The Rams, let's see. The Rams are 5-6. The Browns are 7-4. I think the Browns fall off because you've lost a lot of stars. And yes, your defense has kept you in, but the defense can only carry you so far. Just ask the Jets. So I'm going Rams here. Nick is going the Browns. So we'll just see who can get out a dub in LA. And then at 8:20 on Sunday night, this should be a pretty good game. Kansas City Chiefs coming into Lambeau Field. It's not Aaron Rodgers in the Packers. It's Jordan Love in the Packers. They've been playing pretty well. They are 5-6. They still have a chance they could still win that division. They're still in the hunt. The Chiefs are 8-3. This is going to be a cold game. If the Kansas City Chiefs wide receivers can actually catch footballs, they would have a better record. This is going to be a hard game for the Chiefs. I'm not saying that they can't win it, but I believe that they do win this game. But Jordan Love and the Packers, I think, are going to play pretty decent at home. But give me the Chiefs walking out on top. And Nick has went, oh, Lord. Hello. Hold on, guys. There we go. I knew that was eventually going to happen, but hey, we're back. You missed my pretty face? No, you see my pretty face. So once again, I'm going the Chiefs, or maybe I should change my pick. I don't know. You know what? I'm going Chiefs. Like I said, Nick went the Chiefs as well. Then our Monday night game at 8:15. You've got the new. Like I said, I can't speak today, guys. I need to eat some lunch. The Bengals playing the Jaguars. Yes, the Bengals are now. Don't have Joe Burrow anymore. They are 5-6. I think the Jaguars take care of this game pretty easily. They are 8-3. So give me the Jags at home on Monday Night Football at 8:15. It is in Florida. It'll be a chillier or cooler of a game. So that'll definitely have the Bengals out there. But you've got the Jaguars rounding out and winning the last game of the week. That is what I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said last time, do go watch Nick's podcast, the Nick Solomon Sports Chatter podcast. It is really good. I am on it for the last episode, but he is doing other episodes with himself and other guests. So check him out. Like he said, if you watched it, I'm an inspiration why he's doing what he's doing. So just to spread that love and being able to spread that joy and that passion to someone else who says, hey, I want to take my own steps and do my own podcast. You're changing the world one person at a time, doing one thing at a time. And I love it. That's what we're here to do. We're here to change lives. We're here to make people's lives better. Because why be a Debbie Downer? Why be negative, guys? Spread love, spread joy, peace, love, happiness. And with that being said,